Hey everybody, it's Sean Davis, and welcome to part 3 of my pixinsight tutorials. Today we're finishing the processing of the NGC 6744. We are now at a non-linear state and just finished some denoise, and I'm going to show you an advanced technique that helps bring out the details of this galaxy. Now, this is a technique that I learned from Adam Block, amazing astrophotographer. I do suggest you check out his videos and his YouTube channel at Adam Block Studios. So, to do this, we need to make a preview of the galaxy. So you want to get a nice bulk portion of this galaxy right here. Make sure that you grab those arms as well in the galaxy. So we're going to have something that looks like this, roughly. Click on that, zoom out, you get the arms coming in and around. Now what you do is you're going to make some copies of this. I'm going to rename this one to original. Name this one LS for large scales. And we're going to rename this one SS for small scales. We're going to use HDR multi-scale transform. And for large scales, I like to use the Gaussian blur. And we'll try it to lightness and lightness mask, and we'll try a number of layers of 6. What you're looking for is to pull out all the large scale structures in this image. So that might be just a bit too aggressive. Easy enough. We'll bump that up and we'll try 8. That's a little better. So you can see how it brings the detail out in the core and the arms, and that's what we're looking for. And then small scales, I go small scale, you pick one of these and you just try it out, experiment. So this is just going to show. If you really want more details into how to do this, I highly recommend you go check out adamblockstudios.com and really check out his process tutorials on his website. What you're looking to get is the small scale structures on this one. That's probably going to be the best. And then we're going to open up Pixel Math. Use Expression Editor. And we are going to evenly merge those 3 previews. So it should look something like this. parse that just to make sure that we did everything correct, and we did. Add that in, and we're going to create a new image, and we're going to click apply. Okay, and this is what we're left with. And if you compare the two, there's a lot more details in this core now than there was before. Make sure when you do that too, don't click rescale result, otherwise it's going to change the brightness and then they're not going to merge properly. Next, you want to go modify preview and you want to write down these 4 numbers. Okay, once you have those 4 numbers written down, I have this saved, but you're going to write this. And these numbers, those 4 numbers that you wrote down, is going to be replaced in here. Write those 4 numbers in there, and then you're going to write your image number here for the new image you just created, right here. And then you're going to go back here, and you're going to drag and drop. And it's going to swap this one, and voila. Okay, from this point, I like to do a little bit of a curves transformation globally. This kind of just brings up some of the brightness. You don't do a major change here. Just a little bit of a bump. Now apply that. And then I do a global small saturation boost just to bring out some of the color in the stars. Remember, you're not doing full saturation boosts or anything like that right yet. So there's your global saturation boost. Remember, less is more. Do small iterations rather than big changes. So from this point on, you're going to want to make a range selection and a star mask. To do that, range selection, which can be found in processes, and range selection right here. Range selection, preview, and it'll come up white. You're going to drag this lower limit until you get, well, the whole galaxy is what you're after. You need to increase the smoothness. You want to get rid of as much of that background stuff as you can. You can use a little bit of fuzziness too if you want, just to really tighten up this mask. You get the arms that you want. And you click apply. Another way you can do this is you can go to Script, Utilities, and Game. This is another script from Hartman v. Borman, and it adds an elliptical mask. So you can click that. And you just adjust this elliptical mask. Cover the galaxy. So you want it to look something like that. And then you can do a gradient mask, or you can do a binary mask. I like the binary mask. Right. Click OK. And you'll get a mask like that. The next step, if you're going to use this method, is to use binarize, like so, and you just want to get something like that, covering the mask, and then you go to process, all processes, clone stamp, and from here you're going to erase all the stuff you don't need. Yeah, and then you'll be left with something like this. And then next you need to do is convolution to blur the edge. I like to use standard deviation of 50 and drag and drop. This is going to apply a blur like such, and then that leaves your range mask completed. The next step, you need to isolate the stars from your image. So we're going to go and make a star mask. I like to use 1, 1, and 1. Scale of 8, and then just drag and drop. Okay, once your star mask is complete, you'll end up with something like that. Doesn't have to be super pretty. Open up Pixel Math. Range mask minus star mask. You want to create a new image. Rescale, or no rescale result, sorry. And then click apply. And then that gives you your star removed. Alternatively, you can go pick some math and change your range mask. If you did the RGB bin, your binary mask. Oh. First thing, before I forget, you do need to use convolution on this mask. Because the edges do need to be blurred. And then you go to your pixel math, RGB underscore bin, and you're going to do the same thing. Click apply, and that leaves you with an elliptical. Both are effective. Try out both, see which works for you. Apply this mask, and when you look at it, it's only affecting the galaxy. So from here, I like to do a local histogram. It's equalization. Change that to 1.5, and I change this to about 0.25. And then I'll play with the kernel radius to get an effect that I like. In this instance, a kernel radius of 55 looks to be where I want it. So once you're satisfied with the results, just click Apply. Okay, so now that that's completed, we move on. Now I like to do a little bit of sharpening, a little bit more sharpening. So I go to Multiscale Linear Transform, again 5 layers, and I start on layer 2. Now these values can change, but I usually start with this for a value. So layer 2, 3, and 4, and 2 and 3 at 0.05, and layer 4 at 0.025. And you can preview. And see what that's doing. And it's just going to provide sharpening to the galaxy itself. Not applying any sharpening to the stars or anything like that. You don't want to go too aggressive with it either, otherwise it's going to look really fake, plasticky. So it's not too shabby. And then a final little touch, I go to Unsharp Mask. I change that standard deviation. I start at about 50, and the amount I go to 0.15, and I preview. And you can see that it's adding just a little bit of sharpening into the fine dust and details inside the core of this galaxy. Okay, so now that that's done, the next steps I usually like to do are curve transformations specifically isolated to the galaxy. So brighten my highlights up a little bit. Make sure that you balance it out too, because you do have that mask, and it might make your background look darker. You see, make your background darker than the rest. So you gotta make sure you level it out. Looks good. So I'll apply that, and then I do a saturation boost. To make the colors pop out. Remember, less is always more. You don't want to go too heavy on it. And that should be about it for that. The next thing I like to do is use just a simple luminance mask this time. And then invert it and use the curve transformation tool, and I'll desaturate the darks on the background, and I'll saturate the brights a little tiny bit. This gets rid of a little bit of color noise that you may find in your background, and gives the background a little bit more of a neutral color. Next, I'll do a little bit of a bump on the brightness, and a little bit of a darkening on the background, just to bring the galaxy more forward. Very small changes can make a big difference. So remember, less is always more. So the next part, I like to do star reduction, and I will use the easy star reduction script. So we're going to select the RGB image, and this uses StarNet++. So we need to create a star mask for the star reduction. We can click that, and this takes some time, so we'll come back when it's complete. Okay, so now that that star reduction, or the star mask, is completed, you can choose morphological selection or atom blocks de-emphasis method. The de-emphasis method I do quite enjoy. It works quite well. It can be a little aggressive though, so be aware of that. But next, all you have to do now, after selecting which one you want to use, is you just click Run Easy Star Reduction, and again this will take some time as it's running StarNet++, so we'll come back when it's complete. Okay, so now that that's completed, you can see here that the star reduction was successful. We can do a before and an after. Now from this point on, you can just do some minor things. You can go, if you want to enhance particular colors, you can. How to do that. If you want to bring out, like, say, the HA regions within this galaxy, which there is quite a bit, what you want to do, so you want to find out the hue tones of these by just pressing and holding right there, and this is at about 335 to 350. So we'll go to Script, Utilities, Color Mask, Color Mask Script, and we're going to start this at about 335, and we'll go, say, 360. And then hit OK. And that's going to bring out, let me just double check, and that doesn't look quite right now, does it? So we'll try it again. We'll just broaden the range. Try this again. Just use like an HA filter to bring out that HA in a galaxy myself, but that's not always possible. But you can come in and you can see, there we go. That should be good. So we'll apply that color mask on there now, and then very easily, to adjust that, we just go to the red channel and bump it up a little bit. see, go here, and it's bringing the red up. So we'll bump that red up a little bit more, and then maybe to add a touch more saturation. I think that looks pretty good. Next thing you can do, you can bring out some more of that details in those dark dust regions by using dark structure enhance. Now I like to be very, very easy on this as it's super powerful and it can really mess up your image. Usually around 0.14 to 0.18 is more than sufficient to bring out just a little bit of the detail. You don't want to go crazy, just a little bit of the detail. So you can see that's after, that's what it looked like before, and after again. So it just brings up a little bit more of the contrast in that core to bring out some of the details. The last one I like to do, I don't always use it, but I like to run it, and that's background enhance. I'm going to get these guys out of the way here. I like to run the background enhance script just to see if it's going to add a little bit better background. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. So you can click preview. Go. So with the background enhanced script, you can see there's the original and the enhanced. Sometimes I do a blend. Sometimes I'll just leave it at the original. In this case, I think I might just leave it at the original. I like the darker background a little bit. So from here, I carry it into Photoshop. I'll save an XIS file for pixinsight, and then I'll save a TIFF file for Photoshop, and I'll go into Photoshop and do any minor little adjustments and things like that that I want to do on this. So that was my entire workflow. I hope you learned something from this. If you have any comments or suggestions, please feel free to let me know. Message me on Facebook, on Instagram at Eclipse-Astro. And I hope you guys have benefited from this and enjoy processing from the future. I hope you all have a great weekend and take care. Bye.